What's happening, everybody? I'm Batwolf and welcome to another episode of Art Time. With the releases of the live-action Avatar series, and of course today being National Star Wars Day, I thought another Star Wars Fusion episode was in order. Once again, we will be taking the Avatar characters and placing them within a galaxy far, far away, and seeing how their designs and stories might change. In the last video, we checked out the golden trio of the Avatar gang, Aang, Katara, and Sokka. Just like the other books of the series did, we are going to be expanding their team by adding Zuko, Toph, and Iroh. With the geek facts out of the way, let's punch it in the hyperdrive and let us begin. Prince Zuko was raised in the palace of the Fire Empire with his sister Azula and his parents Ozai and Ursa. Both Azula and Zuko were trained to become the best firebending force users the galaxy has ever seen and built their yellow lightsabers. While Zuko was gifted and advanced faster than most, his father pressured him to embrace the dark side to enhance his abilities. This bothered Zuko as he did not want to lose himself to the dark side. Zuko continued to fight for his father's praise, which would eventually bring him to a war council. Challenging the immoral plans of a head general, he challenged said general to a fierce lightsaber duel, an Agni Kai. To his surprise and fear, the man he met in battle that day was his own father. Not wanting to fight his father, he turned off his lightsaber. Without weakness, without hesitation, Ozai cut into Zuko's left side of his face, which left him scarred for the rest of his life. Sent on an impossible mission to find the Force Avatar, Zuko, now with a cybernetic eye and his yellow lightsaber turned into a crimson color. Zuko nearly lost himself to the dark. However, with the guidance of his uncle Iroh, that light of hope still burned within him. Iroh took Zuko as his apprentice and taught the boy how to block force lightning and turn it against the attacker. He would later find the Avatar and his friends, and while he was skilled, he couldn't match the power of their team. After his trials and errors, he would realize that this obsession with his father would destroy him. Thus, he abandoned his crusade and used that hope to join the Avatar and fight for a new path for his people. He would even become Aang's firebending teacher. However, Zuko's red saber had stopped working for him, as his rage that powered the saber was no longer there. Together, Aang and Zuko traveled to the mountains of the Sun Warriors, where their firebending was truly mastered. Zuko was challenged by the Krayt Dragons to match them in the Force and test his heart. Seeing the good in him, he was allowed to travel into the mountains, where he found his new orange kyber crystals. Then forging his new twin lightsabers, he would help Aang and the other members of his team bring peace to the galaxy and defeat his father. When the time came for new leadership, Zuko would take his father's place and became the Fire Emperor, and continued assisting the Avatar in keeping the peace. Using all that he learned from his dark side, his failures, power, and friendship, Zuko would lead his people away from the path of destruction and return them to a path of light, a path of hope. For Zuko's design, I started with a basic drawing where I was originally going to give him his hair from book 3. However, I think if he had a choice, Zuko would choose to grow out his hair, just as he did after the events of the series. I mainly took inspiration from two characters from Star Wars, Darth Maul and Asajj Ventress, and applied some of their Sith-like robes and Asajj-inspired lightsabers. For his color scheme, I chose to make a blend of the Black Jedi robes and the traditional colors of the Fire Nation. As opposed to my usual designs, I tried my best to stick to the Avatar style. This meant keeping the shading and lighting to a minimum. Placing him on a battle platform of the Fire Nation, this added to his fighting pose. With his new hope and skills, he leads the Fire Nation as a Jedi Fire Master and Emperor, Zuko. Toph Beifong was raised on the planet Malastare. Her family made a fortune by using their Force earthbending to sense the oils and fuels within the planet. Toph would have been made to go into this family practice if she hadn't been born without sight. One day, while at her parents' factory, there was an eruption and Toph fell deep into the caves of Malastare. As she helplessly made her way through the caves, she met an ancient beast that lived within the planet, a Zillo beast. Known for their great size and strength and natural burrowing, she was made to believe that Zillos were simple and destructive. But what Toph felt that day was a gentle touch of kindness. While underground, she learned how to burrow and formed great strength in her bending as she mastered her abilities and newfound confidence. She learned how to sense the planet she's on through the single touch and found her green kyber crystal. As the years went by, she told her father that she was studying at a school on another planet. In reality, she was mastering her crossguard saber and winning money in a battle ring as her new nickname, the Blind Bandit. Showing her skills in combat, this proved to Aang that she would be a perfect companion to assist them in their fight against the Empire, but more importantly, become his new earthbending teacher. Enjoying the idea of freedom, she left her fight for money and instead fought for something bigger than herself: peace. Toph was a formidable opponent and took on the best firebenders, bounty hunters, and threats that the universe had to offer. It was these challenges that assisted her in discovering the art of metal bending. With her skills and power, it was said that she was actually a Zillo beast reincarnated into a little girl, and her attitude did not help dispel that rumor. After the war came to an end, Toph created a peacekeeping force guard that consisted of earth/metal benders and became their chief. While she can be tough on people and is stubborn as a boulder, Toph is a true champion of good and will forever be known as one of the best Earth Jedi of all time. For Toph's design, I decided to make an amalgamation of Toph's metal bending officer uniform in The Legend of Korra and the Jedi Temple Guards. This resulted in a dark metal armor with their gold markings and white robes. Not wanting to keep this design mostly gray and black, I gave her a green kilt and headband. One of the coolest details I enjoyed making was the Zillo Beast face engravings on her silver gauntlets. When it came to a lightsaber, I wanted one that matched her personality. So I gave her a powerful, heavily armored crossguard. I gave her a green color to show her strong connection with the Force, and had her guarding the Jedi Temple. With her new armor, saber, and force abilities of kaiju-sized proportions, the temples and balance of the Force is in great hands with the Chief of the Force Guard, Jedi Earth Master Toph. Iroh, son of Azulon and Isla, and brother to Ozai, was the future heir to the Fire Empire and without a question, one of the greatest Force users to be produced by the nation. He was a true product of their ways of the Force, as he mastered Force lightning, fire, dueling with and without a lightsaber, and was an elite strategist. It was after meeting the Sun Warriors and the Krayt Dragons Ran and Shaw, where he learned to truly master his craft as a warrior. After years of proving his skills, he would eventually become the head general of the Empire and had a ranking of Master. Fighting as one of his soldiers was his own son, Liu Ten, who he took as his own Padawan learner and used the war to bring him through his Jedi training. Through his leadership, he would win many battles and lead his people to victory. Iroh's dream victory, however, was to conquer the planet deemed unconquerable by the inner and outer rims, the Earth City planet Ba Sing Se. While he came close, his need for victory and lust for power died when he learned of his son's fall in battle. That day he gave up any need to become emperor and felt his heart ache with sorrow. With the sudden death of Azulon, Ozai became the Fire Emperor, and Iroh took a different journey. Not wanting to contribute to the bloodshed and war that took his son from him, he went down a path of peace and prosperity. He would travel across the galaxy and became enlightened of the idea of balance within the Force. With much meditation and thought, Iroh decided to use his power to purify his dark orange lightsaber into a pearly white. His progress brought the attention of an ancient order of balance, the White Lotus, and brought him in as one of their members. Wanting to keep his new power and enlightenment a secret, he left his lightsaber behind and vowed to never use it until the time was right. After his nephew Zuko's disgraced battle with Ozai, he joined him on his quest to find the Force Avatar, taking Zuko in as his new Padawan learner and teaching him new skills that would save the boy's life numerous times. The pair would fight side by side, and Iroh would even look at his nephew as a son. Of all the lessons he taught him, Iroh's lessons of balance and letting go of anger was the only way for Zuko to find his true path. Just as many masters and Padawans before them, they had turned separate ways. Zuko would join the Avatar Aang, and Iroh would band his old friends of the White Lotus and vow to finally bring an end to this war. With the powers of the old masters and fight for balance, Iroh returned his saber to his hands and fought to unleash the Fire Empire's grip upon the galaxy. After the many years of fighting and suffering, Iroh would open a tea shop in the planet that once brought him so much pain. He would advise his nephew in his new role as the Fire Emperor and would lend a hand in the training of his niece, Izumi. Unfortunately, all living things' time comes to an end, as it is the way of the Force. Iroh would pass on and leave the physical realm. However, with his enlightenments and training in life, he was able to become a Force ghost and pass on his knowledge to those who could listen, such as the Avatar. Thus, Iroh, the tea-loving, expert, and loving duelist life came to an end, but in a way became more powerful than we could possibly imagine. When thinking of Iroh's design, I wanted to show the design of the infamous lightsaber I was talking about with a shining crystal. The colors were making me nervous as I didn't know which way I wanted to lean with, whether it would be his traditional Fire Nation colors, the Earth Nation blend, or some colors of the traditional Jedi robes. I decided to go with the iconic green colors and brought that into the robes and looked for a lightweight armor from Star Wars for this version of the White Lotus armor. I chose the armor that Baylan Skoll uses in the Ahsoka Tano series. Behind him, I decided to bring him into a peaceful sunset on an Earth-like planet and blended the whole thing together. With his ideas of balance and incredible legacy, here is Jedi Fire Grandmaster Iroh. So here's if these Avatar characters were in Star Wars. If you stuck around this long, let me know in the comments which design and story was your favorite. Also, please let me know if you want to see a third part to this video and which characters you would like to see. Personally, I would love to see an Azula design, but that's just me. Just like Iroh and his tea, I truly enjoyed making this video for you guys. And it was an honor to make something to contribute to one of my favorite series of all time. That said, may the Force be with you, subscribe, and this is Batwolf, howling out.